Kansas City, I mean, the defense is the strength of their team. I remember us talking to you about that the last time these two teams faced off. The thing I can't wrap my head around is their lack of takeaways.
Buffalo Bills are vocalizing some advantages versus the Kansas City Chiefs.
It's nice to have the fans behind you. I think little nuances like not having to use silent cadences is always a plus. Yeah, I think especially with a short week like we had, it's really nice to have the home field advantage.
Like Mitch Morse said, the Bills are at home, but we need to take a deeper dive into what that actually means. The Buffalo Bills will not have to be on a silent count, so it really helps out this offense not being on a silent count. Josh Allen can have hard count, which ultimately slows down the Kansas City Chiefs defensive line as well as slows down those crazy blitzes from Spagano.
I'd say the home team in sports usually does have the advantage, whether it's crowd noise, atmosphere. It's always tough going on the road to play.
And on the opposite side of the ball, it actually helps out our defense because guys like Von Miller, Greg Rousseau, AJ Epenesa, Leonard Floyd, they are going to be able to predict the snap, knowing that they're not going to be able to call any hard counts.
It means a lot. I mean, having Bills Mafia around is a game changer, like legitimately. Having them there, making it hard for the offense to communicate, for them to just hear things in general, calls, adjustments, that makes the world of difference for us as a defense.
Because of that silent count that they are going to likely have to snap the ball. So if Bills Mafia erupts, if we continue to sound like jet engines, the Buffalo Bills defensive line as well as Sean McDermott's crazy blitzes are going to be able to time that snap and get a good jump off the ball. And the Bills just played the Chiefs in December about a month ago, so all the familiarities that we have. But when you take a look at the stats during this game for particularly this defensive line, you could see that Ed Oliver had a half a sack, Greg Rousseau had a half a sack. But the facts are we were at Arrowhead for this game, meaning Patrick Mahomes utilized a hard count against our team.
Being from down there, I'm from St. Louis area, and so since the Rams left, everyone from home's converted Chiefs fan. That's a little extra motivation for me personally.
And let's not forget what happened against those Kansas City Chiefs. AJ Epenesa had a deflected ball to himself for an interception, but was injured on the play and was clearly out the rest of that game and for the upcoming weeks. But AJ Epenesa is back. And let me remind you, AJ Epenesa did this earlier in the year against Sam Howell. Pick 6 this time. Absolutely remarkable by AJ Epenesa. So knowing this Buffalo Bills defensive line is going to have a good jump on the ball due to being at home and them not being able to utilize a hard count, guys like Greg Rousseau, who had a tip ball to himself and picking off Patrick Mahomes before as well too, is AJ Epenesa. I think the Buffalo Bills defensive line is going to have a great pass rush on Patrick Mahomes, which is also going to help the back end of this defense.
A lot of guys in the back end are banged up. How important is it for you guys up front to make an impact on the game?
Yeah, I feel like it's always important for us to make an impact on the game up front. D-line and O-line, I feel like they really lead teams in the NFL. So, I mean, just being a presence from start to finish and helping out your dudes in the secondary, that's what it's all about, no matter who's back there.
Greg Rousseau was specifically asked about this defensive line and our pass rush and knowing that they work in unison, knowing that the back end of this Buffalo Bills defense is dealing with a ton of injuries. Taron Johnson in concussion protocol, his play is questionable for this upcoming game, but he did practice in the walkthrough on Wednesday. And then we have Christian Benford with a hurt knee. We have Rasul Douglas, who is also a limited participant in practice, as well as Terrell Bernard hurting his ankle. But word is on the street that they are all day to day. Per Sean McDermott's words, day to day is something that we need to key in on. It's not week to week. It is day to day, and they could very well all play. Some other missing pieces is Taylor Rapp, but the facts are the Buffalo Bills secondary is depleted, but having an elite pass rush, which the Buffalo Bills have had so far in 2023, really helps the back end of this defense. And statistically, the Kansas City Chiefs offense has really struggled this year, but when you take a look at the Buffalo Bills defensive pass rushing stats, we ranked third best in the NFL with an 8.51% sack rate. When looking at the Kansas City Chiefs and their offensive line passing the football, how well have they done? Well, we could see. And when looking at the Kansas City Chiefs and their offensive line, they are actually allowing the fewest sacks in the NFL. Number 1 in the NFL, allowing the fewest sacks at 3.98%. But again, the Bills are at home. They're going to have to utilize a silent count in the playoffs, the loudest crowd that they're going to have to deal with ever this season. And also taking a look at the Kansas City Chiefs defense, we could see they have the number 1 sack rate in the NFL. But again, going against Josh Allen and his ability to have a hard count, not being in Kansas City where we would have had to utilize a silent count. Now, another huge advantage for the Bills is the lack of turnovers for the Kansas City Chiefs. We can clearly see here that they are 25th in the NFL with the total amount of takeaways per game. And offensively, they are actually turning the ball over quite a bit. We could see that they rank 25th in the NFL, averaging 1.6 turnovers per game offensively. And yes, it has something to do with Patrick Mahomes and Rashid Rice. You could see here that the total interceptions thrown, Patrick Mahomes is 22nd in the NFL, throwing an interception 2.51% of the time. So everyone wants to jump on Josh Allen's case about all the interceptions that he has thrown, but he is right on par with Patrick Mahomes. But going against that Kansas City Chiefs defense that does not have as many takeaways as the Buffalo Bills defense, Josh Allen is 26th in the NFL, throwing an interception at 2.96%. Also, looking at this Buffalo Bills defense, we can clearly see that we are taking the ball away. It is unbelievable. The Buffalo Bills currently rank 3rd best in the NFL, taking the ball away 1.8 times per game. We can't forget about the Bills' rushing attack here. Josh Allen with his 50-yard rushing touchdown, hitting 19 plus miles an hour, the fastest any offensive player for the Buffalo Bills has hit so far this season. We can clearly see the Bills are dominating this run game here with rush yards per game, 5th best in the NFL. Rushing touchdowns per game at 1.3, which is the 5th best in the NFL. Well, how about that Kansas City Chiefs rushing defense? Well, we could see right here, Kansas City Chiefs rushing stats defensively, opponent yards per rush. They are 23rd in the NFL. Opponent rush yards per game, they are 16th in the NFL. So at first glance, you could say, oh, the Bills have home field advantage and just call that an advantage. But what does that ultimately mean? The Buffalo Bills being able to utilize a hard count on offense, which will slow down Spagano's crazy blitz packages in their overall pass rush. And defensively, it's going to allow our pass rush to get to Patrick Mahomes. Yes, they have the best offensive line in pass blocking so far this season, but they have not played a playoff game away going against this team. Von Miller, Greg Rousseau, AJ Epenesa, everyone completely balling out. Leonard Floyd being top tier in the NFL in total sacks. Us getting our hands up, tipping Patrick Mahomes' ball in the air, picking him off. It's happened so many times in the past, and I'm expecting it to happen again. Even James Cook and this revamped offensive line in 2023 for the Buffalo Bills, we are establishing the run with Josh Allen too, and the Kansas City Chiefs have not fared well against the run in 2023. Then you take a look at Patrick Mahomes. Everyone giving Josh Allen so much flack for the amount of interceptions that he's thrown, but he's right on par with Patrick Mahomes to include this defense of the Buffalo Bills that has a ton of takeaways. And when you take a look at the Kansas City Chiefs and their total amount of takeaways per game, only ranking 26 in the NFL, this should fare well for Josh Allen, Joe Brady, and this Buffalo Bills offense. And on an additional side note here, we are going against Sean Hockley, who refereed that Eagles game. Disastrous game there for the Buffalo Bills. But when you take a look at the total penalties for the Buffalo Bills versus the Kansas City Chiefs, the Bills' total penalties per game are at 5.6, which is 13th best in the NFL. The Kansas City Chiefs are at 4.5, which ranks 30th in the NFL. They are averaging more penalties per game than the Buffalo Bills, going against Sean Hockley. And yes, the Bills are depleted in our secondary, but this top-tier pass rush for the Bills is going to help our secondary. Guys like Rasul Douglas is practicing and could very well see the field. Same with Tyrell Dotson, who Eric Washington said was on fire before he got hurt, especially in his run fits. Yes, there's a big difference this game. Isaiah Pacheco for the Kansas City Chiefs is going to be there, unlike that first matchup about a month ago. And we know that the Buffalo Bills really need to bottle up that running attack. Teams going on the road always try to establish the run. That is one key for success, especially with Patrick Mahomes throwing so many interceptions and with this entire offense really being lackluster. The strength of the Kansas City Chiefs team is truly their defense, having the number 1 sacks in the NFL. But the biggest advantage here for the Buffalo Bills is the fact that Sean McDermott understands Pagano. He understands Andy Reid, the same coaching tree. I think he understands what they're trying to accomplish. And also keep in mind, Sean McDermott calling plays the first time in the Buffalo Bills era. Sean McDermott has dialed up some unique blitz packages and different formations out of big nickel and dime. You know, this offense, iron sharpening iron, our offense is going to be prepared to go against Pagano's crazy blitz packages because they're relatively the same as Sean McDermott. But I want to hear from you. Drop any more advantages the Buffalo Bills have in this game. I hope you enjoyed hearing the Buffalo Bills players voice some of these advantages versus the Kansas City Chiefs. I think they truly are advantages. We're always talking about complementary football, whether it's offense, defense, special teams. And yes, the Bills just signed a new punter, probably the reasoning behind the release of Leonard Fournette. Matt Hack is back for Bills Mafia. I appreciate you guys all so much. If you want to support me, make sure you hit like, subscribe on the channel. If you want to support me further, check the links in the description. Get the Buffalo Chicken Wing, free shipping, sizes small through 5XL, hoodies, long sleeves. We got blue, gray, red, black, all different colors. There's a Zoombaz style one. There's different designs that you guys could check out. But I truly appreciate you guys all so much. This game is going to be absolutely amazing. Buffalo Bills could very well be in the AFC Championship game against a potential rookie in CJ Stroud. And let me just remind you, I've been saying it for years, no rookie has ever won a championship game. So if the Bills get into that situation, I think we are going to have a fair shot at getting to the Super Bowl. Appreciate you. Hit like and subscribe, and go Bills.